What's up, everyone? You are tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show. Let's try that again. 3 questions and a song, episode 114. The show where the title says it all, except it really doesn't, because I never really did only 3 questions. But if you've tuned in, you'll notice that this one changes all the time format-wise. We're going to roll with it just like I normally do. With me tonight is Ashley Wineland. What's up, Ashley?
Hi.
First of all, you're on a tour bus right now?
I am, yes. So you are looking at partially of the front part of our bus, and I'm sitting at our dinette right now.
That actually leads perfectly into the first question I wanted to ask you about. I was looking over your one sheet, and it said that you got a degree while you were touring online. And being a teacher, I think that's awesome, and I wanted to point that out so if anyone's watching, they can be like, oh, you really can do things like that. So yeah. How do you pull that off? I mean, touring is grueling, and you're doing classes at the same time.
It definitely is. It was certainly an adjustment because I went to public school, K through 12. So was very much used to that in-person thing. But when I graduated, and this was back in 2016 from high school, my online options weren't that extensive, but I ended up getting my degree in film and media studies through Arizona State University. And I will say that adjustment, like that first semester, especially being on the road full time and doing school, I definitely had to learn some critical time management skills very quickly, but it certainly was possible for me. The way I did it was I took just 1 or 2 accelerated courses at a time and just kind of ate at my coursework over, the almost 5 years that I was in school. So it extended my timeline a little bit, but got it done, out of the way, and did it all while I was on the road. So it was just a matter of just having the discipline on, my off time when we weren't working on doing shows and stuff, to just sit down and be like, all right, it's time to watch lectures and take notes and read my textbooks and stuff and make it happen.
So I'm going to use an education term here for a minute. So it was asynchronous class where you did it on your time?
Well,
or were there live lectures you had to be in on too?
No, there wasn't live lectures. We weren't at that point. I will say, power to ASU for having the platforms established and stuff to where we definitely had due dates when everything needed to be turned in, and there was multiple throughout the week. So you kind of had to naturally pace yourself with certain lectures on days to make sure that you could do the assignments on time. But it was still show up, do the work. Luckily, I had a little bit more flexibility than I know some people who do online classes and stuff do, to where I could watch those, at midnight or whatever after a show if I needed to, and still have all the information that I needed at my hands.
The other thing that I'm really big into charity, and you have a whole list of charities that you work with. And I don't want to test you, but are there a few that you want to talk about in particular?
Definitely. So my 2 biggest passions when it comes to doing any philanthropic kind of work tend to either fall in the realm of supporting our nation's veterans and their families. And also another love of mine is animal rights organizations. And I love when I find groups that kind of fall under both of those umbrellas. So one of the organizations that I've done work with in the past that I would love to give a shout out to is Pause for Patriots. They take adult shelter dogs and allow veterans to be able to come and adopt those animals, waive all the costs and stuff for them to adopt them, to give them all the supplies that they need to have a pet, and of course support veterinary care and stuff for them going forward. And of course, there's also amazing charities that kind of focus centrally on either one of those. So the No Greater Sacrifice Foundation I've done work with, and they provide scholarships and school supplies to children of fallen soldiers, which is, I just think, amazing. They've done some really incredible work over the years. And then on the animal side of things, I love my friends over at Home Copy Programs or Tierra Madre Horse and Human Sanctuary. I love to work with equine animals as well. So both of those really just cater to helping people especially like veterans and stuff, because they have equine therapy programs and animals as well.
So I'm glancing over. I have the one sheet off to my left. I'm cheating. I'll let you behind the curtains a moment. It says that during your downtime, you like to crochet and knit.
Yeah.
What's the coolest thing you've made?
Ooh. What has it been? I don't have it like on me, obviously, but my mom, I crocheted her like a sweater one year for Christmas, and it was probably one of the more extensive projects that I've ever done, especially with crochet, because I picked that up second to knitting, so I was a knitting first kind of gal. But I've also made baby blankets and stuff for fans of mine and everything. I just like to have a reason to put a project together and share it with people.
I at school we decided we were going to crochet mats for the homeless out of plastic
I love
bags.
that. Yeah.
And it was a great idea, but none of them got finished.
Oh no.
Mine was the closest. I got about 3 feet before I was like, I can't anymore.
It's definitely, for me, knitting and crochet, like while they're in the same family, are two very different beasts. Like I have my knitting project off to the side right now that I'm working on, and to me that's like, ooh, we get to do like really cool like designs and stuff, and it's fun. And then crochet is like that thing where either if I want to do something really complicated and fun, crochet hook, or if I want to do something so repetitive and mindless that you just get in that motion of working the material that it's just like, it's like a meditative state. You just get to zone out and go to town.
I feel bad that I didn't finish it because it was for a good cause, but it was too repetitive for me. And,
yeah.
And working with plastic bags that you've put in the strips, it's not easy either.
No, I give kudos to the folks who definitely like go above and beyond in doing those sorts of projects and stuff, because having to tie all of your plastic bags together and stuff to make like a yarn essentially to do it all. Yeah, that's certainly a piece of work.
Okay, so let's move on again. I have 2 questions that I ask everybody. One of them is the official Build a Scene question, which is my overall website, and the other one is the unofficial one because it came later. So the official one is who's your Dave Grohl, and by that I mean what artist do you want to go up on stage with and perform one of their originals? Because the Foo Fighters and Dave pull people up on stage all the time. So if you had that chance, who would you want to be on stage with?
Hands down, my top answer is always Carrie Underwood. I have the most fun, and always have, like growing up. She came onto the scene with American Idol in the early 2000s, and so like I always grew up listening to her music, and she's one of my biggest influences and stuff, especially with like the powerhouse vocals. I have so much fun singing her songs. I personally, to be honest, I'm a big fan. I haven't missed a single tour of hers thus far. So it would be an extreme honor to be invited up on stage to sing anything out of her discography with her. So
now I know I told you earlier before we came on the air that I was going to ask you questions that get to the same answer like that one, but this next one really doesn't. But it's still it's a question that some people think is awesome, and then I have a DJ on Music from 412 who harasses me for asking it. So here it is. What is the best pizza you've had because you're a musician?
The best pizza I've had because I am a musician. Wow. Well, I've certainly had a lot of pizza in my life. But if I had to say the best, personally for me, I'm a dough person. Give me some bread. Give me all the bread with the pizza. Don't even put anything on it at that point. Just give me pizza dough and I would be happy. I love, if I recall, I can't tell you where because it's been a couple years since I've been there, but I remember being in Chicago a few years back and getting some deep dish pizza out there, and it
Oh no, you froze on me.
All right. We back?
Yes. So you were talking about deep dish pizza in Chicago, and that's kind of where it
Yes.
froze.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic. Like I said, I can't remember off the top of my head where exactly it was at, but I know it was in Chicago and it was delicious and I was just in carb heaven.
I have only been to Chicago once, and I did have deep dish pizza, and I can't remember where it was from either. It was I'm sure my brother would remember, but he's not here to ask.
Yeah.
That's I went there to watch the Penguins play the Blackhawks in an outdoor game, and it turned out that the best part was going to getting pizza afterwards because we were frozen, and then the other thing was, I see I'm blanking on his name. Buddy Guy's Legends was the restaurant. Buddy Guy, the Grammy Award winning blues guitarist.
Yeah.
That was awesome too. But so while since I brought up Buddy Guys, what's I don't know. Do you stop at restaurants while you're touring, or do you?
For us, not uber frequently. I mean, every now and then, sure, the night might call for it. But most of the time, I'm very blessed that the rig that we drive in, we have a full kitchen off to the side here. So we got food, we got a stovetop and everything. It's not a hassle to make meals. And honestly, it keeps us healthier at the end of the day anyway. But like I said, every now and then, we get treated to some really fun food from all over the place, especially like if we're at, we do a lot of fairs and festivals too. So you never know what kind of food trucks might be in or places that are nearby. You get to experience some nice little local delicacies.
I am definitely a food truck person. I designed a website for a food truck, which is how I got into that. But if you're ever in Pennsylvania and you see a food truck called Del Vecchio's Sausage and Fries,
Okay.
that's the one, and you have to try it.
Okay. I will mark that down and like make sure that it's on my radar.
So let's slide into your song that I'm going to play here momentarily. Crank It Up. I definitely hear the countryside, but I hear some rock to it too.
Yeah.
And tell me, this is your storyteller's time. Tell me something about that song.
Yeah, so it's funny that you say, you can hear the country influences, you can also hear the rock influences. And especially growing up, I definitely listened to both, and I still do listen to both genres. I love really high energy music that's just got a lot of grit, a lot of soul, a lot of passion. And this particular song is basically the kickoff song that is heralding in a whole new album project that I'm working on with an incredible producer by the name of Marti Frederiksen. And for my not super music geeky friends who might not know his name just off the top of the head, Marty's done incredible work with, most notably, I think, Aerosmith over the last few decades and stuff. He's done a lot of work with them, but he's also done amazing work in the country sphere with acts like Carrie Underwood and Faith Hill, and even acts like Miley Cyrus and stuff. So super knowledgeable, and just has an incredible ear in the studio for getting sounds just to layer together and everything. And for us, Crank It Up, even though it was our first song out the gate to introduce this project, actually came a little bit later in the lineup of other songs that we've been working on as well. But he was like, hey, I co-wrote this song with some other songwriting friends of mine, and I wanted to see, it's just sitting here right now, would you be interested in it? So I took a listen to it and just instantly lit up after hearing the original demo. And I kind of looked at him and I said, we're 100% sure like this is on the table. And he goes, yeah. And he's like, well, let's just put your voice on it and see what it sounds like, see if it's even worth doing anything with. And I had, I think, about 12 hours with the demo. And the next day I came in because we were working on some of the other stuff and laid vocals down on it. And that this is such a strong one. And
Um,
we should just put it out first.
You froze again when you were talking about laying the vocals down on it.
Okay. Yeah, so we laid vocals down on it.
Apparently that's the key word because it just froze again.
I'm sorry we keep like having connection problems. I'm
That's
trying
okay.
to like troubleshoot and see if it's something to do on my side. But yeah, basically it just came down to, wow, this song really stands out as like something special amongst the others. And we wanted to put it out first because between the country and the rock and really embracing this new era of sound for me, it just really all came together in the best way possible.
Very cool. So we're going to take a moment and listen to Crank It Up, and we'll be right back. Hey, we're back with Ashley on episode 115 of 3 Questions and a Song. So those of you that are listening to radio version don't know that on the screen I have our website. So we're going to start there. It's ashleywineland.com. I'm going to spell it just in case. ASHLEYWINELAND.com. Besides your website, where else could they get to listen to your music and check you out? And you're on tour, so where are you headed?
Yeah, so obviously if you guys go to the website, the whole tour schedule is on there. But if you also use apps like Fans in Town and stuff, you can see the schedule there as well. For music listening, streaming, my music's out on all major platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, even the smaller ones. If you guys are into more like indie streaming services, they're on there as well. So anywhere you can play music, you can pretty much find my catalog. But then for anything else, like with new music releases and seeing all the behind the scenes on the road and where we're going to be and stuff, as far as social media goes, you can find me across all different social media platforms at Ashley Wineland Music. I have verified pages on all those platforms except for TikTok right now. We're working on trying to rectify that, but everything else has that nice blue check mark, so you know you found the right page, you're in the right spot, because unfortunately scammers run rampant in this world. So we want to make sure that you guys are landing in the right place. And of course, if you go to the website too, there's straight direct links to all the right social media pages as well.
So you mentioned off the air and a little bit while we we're on the air about having another song ready in your project.
Yes.
And about a week and a half, 2 weeks till that release.
Yeah, it's coming really soon. August 2nd, we are dropping a brand new song. And if you guys liked Crank It Up, you think you're really going to love the next one that we have coming down the line.
And what's the title of that one?
So because y'all are watching, even though technically at the time that we're filming this, I haven't technically announced it yet. You guys will find out soon enough. And it's this. So the new single is titled Heartbreak Boots.
Heartbreak Boots. Okay. I'm going to have to check that out for sure.
Yeah, it's a fun
one. So it mentions in your one sheet that you have done the national anthem for a lot of pretty major places. And the national anthem has kind of been in the news lately. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't know who didn't see it at this point. Yeah.
So which of the places that you've done the national anthem did you have the most fun at afterwards?
Afterwards. Oh, let's see. That's a whole different question. I've done some amazing events. I have to say it's hard to pin it down to one, but if I could put like my top 2 that I have the most fun at. I've had the pleasure of national anthems for AMA Monster Energy Supercross races, and that's always a lot of fun. I'm a huge racing fan. So the fact that, we get to spend the day at the track and then do the anthem and then get to watch all the races in person is always really fun. But then I'd have to say my other one is doing the national anthem for the Arizona Cardinals, so NFL. Same thing. I have a great relationship with that team over there. They treat me super well. So it's always really fun to go down onto the field, be in the big stadium, sing the anthem, and then get to watch the game afterwards. And hopefully, you pray that we're in a good season and have a good team that year. It's still fun though.
Let's see. Okay, I have to ask because it just drew my eye while I was looking over there. It says you spent your youth as a desert rat.
Yeah. So kind of tying back in like motorcycles and everything like that. I was born and raised in the great state of Arizona, and many of my childhood summers, and even still like to this day, obviously, though my summers now are on tour across the United States. But growing up, I was outside a lot. So we did a lot of like ATV dirt bike riding and stuff in the deserts. And then I also spent a lot of time growing up at like Lake Pleasant out in Arizona. So we did a lot of like water skiing and tubing and snorkeling and just all sorts of activities that kept me outside in the desert, much more tan than I am right now, because for some reason why it's been nothing but like rain clouds everywhere we've been for the last like month. But, I spend a lot of time outside, and I love the desert. There's a lot of people who hate on it, but I'm one of those people who just loves it so much. So yes, I have classified myself as a desert rat.
All right, so I'm going to ask you probably two more, maybe three of my type of questions, since I kind of did the normal interview thing there for a little while. So you're leaving a show, and as you walk out of the venue, there's a DeLorean sitting there with its door open and a flux capacitor in the back seat. And I'm not sure if you're hearing this because you appear to have froze again. I'm going to have to edit this a little bit. There you are. You're back. Did you hear the question, or do I need to repeat it?
No, you like totally set up to ask the question and then it cut out. We really love being in the middle of Nebraska right now.
So you're leaving a show, and there's a DeLorean sitting there with its door open and a flux capacitor in the back seat, so you can travel back in time and hang out with any band. So
wow,
who do you want to hang out with, and at what time period?
Oh, I've never had to like have deep thought about this sort of like question before. Honestly, I would love to go back in time and like hang out and kind of see the behind the scenes of like a Michael Jackson production. I love his music. It's like my ultimate hype music. But I also have such mad respect too for like his musical genius and just all the things that went into like putting his shows and stuff like that together. I would have loved to see like behind the scenes and pick his brain on just like how he works, I
like that answer. This next one, you may ask me to reword it after I ask it, but
okay.
So Robert Johnson in the Legends of the Blues sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads. And became the greatest guitar player in the world at the time. If you were standing at that same crossroads waiting for the devil to arrive, what are you there to sell your soul for?
Oh my goodness. Well, that's great.
I can reword it if you would like me.
No, it's all good. I don't necessarily know if I have anything that I would love to be so proficient at that I'd want to sell my soul to the devil to. I think if anything, it would be just to try to have all the like wisdom and knowledge and like understanding to be able to help solve problems, like be proficient and just trying to make the best out of like situations. I think that's like the only thing I could think of at the top of my head where it's like I could turn something that isn't all that great into something that might have some positive benefits for myself and the rest of mankind.
Okay, I am gonna do three. This next one, I ask it a lot, so I'm not gonna explain it because people that, if you need me to explain it, I will. But people that have watched the videos have heard it a lot. So you can play with any artist anywhere in the world. So you get to pick the artist, and when I say play with, you could be up on stage with them. They could be opening for you. You could open for them. And
Okay.
it doesn't need to be like a well-known venue. It could be, on an island somewhere, wherever you think it would be cool to play with them.
Ooh. Honestly, like, I would just love to get a lineup of some like really iconic like country acts and stuff. And for me, that's like anything from like Alabama and the Eagles to, acts like a Miranda and stuff, and just have like this huge heyday festival. I've always really wanted to go to Germany. And I know there's a love for country music that's growing out in Europe too, so it kind of works out. But for me, it's like I want to go to where like my family has ties. So my dad's side of the family was from the Rhinelands, which kind of borders between like France and Germany. And it, based off pictures, it's gorgeous, and it's like the perfect place I think to have like a big outdoor country festival. So I think it would just be fun to do like something like that, where you just put like a bunch of really iconic country acts together, throw myself in the lineup, and just play in like German countryside.
I like it. My college roommate is a huge obscure metal fan,
Oh, okay.
and in Germany they have this big festival,
Yeah.
basically the way you described, except
Oh,
it's
really?
obscure metal.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But,
think for country music it'd be fun.
I think I covered, unless there's something that you want to cover that I didn't touch on. I think I
Man,
covered
I mean, I
everything
think
that.
we really like touched our bases because obviously we talked about Crank It Up, which is my most recent single release. It's the name of the tour and everything that we're out on right now. We're touring all across the United States. So for any of my international friends watching, I'm sorry, we don't we don't have any international dates at the moment. But for my US friends, I actually just updated our calendar today with even more shows in the US and some new states and everything. So if you haven't seen the updates, make sure to go over to the website and check them all out. Or like I said, Bands in Town, even as an application, has all those updates on there now as well. And of course, like I said, my new single Heartbreak Boots is coming out soon, August 2nd. And this tour is taking us all the way through to October. So lots of opportunities to come out and see us, to hear the new music. We got some really fun shows on the schedule. We're heading into Cheyenne Frontier Days this week, which is nuts. It's one of my favorite events that we do. But then I'm also opening up for some really fun acts like Sawyer Brown and Jody Messina. Little in August, actually, both of those are happening in August. So it's a really fun time to be following along on the journey. And if you've been having fun listening to this interview and stuff, and anything that we do music wise or otherwise sounds appealing, I'd love for you to join us on the journey, whether that's by following on social media or even signing up for my fan club, which is totally free on my website.
Very cool. I want to thank you for hanging out with me on episode 115. See, I told you my brain was going to mess up somewhere today.
It's all right. I get it, man. I've been running 18 million directions today, so I'm out there with you.
Make sure you check out Ashley on ashleywineland.com. And she's also a dead horse branding artist, which is how I got in touch with her. They have sent me all kinds of artists, and I love interviewing their artists. So I did now the brain's gonna fail. I'm not gonna do it because I'll just cut this out. I did multiple artists from
Fair enough.
I can't believe it's the keyboardist from Aerosmith. I can't remember his name.
Oh, not Buck Johnson, okay. Right?
It is Buck Johnson. Thank you.
Is it? Okay.
Yes. And Stone Senate is a band that I've tried to interview multiple times, and we've had all kinds of misfires, including My Power being out the other day when I was supposed to interview them. So that one is coming if you're enjoying the Dead Horse branding line of the show. So I want to thank you one more time, Ashley, and I'm going to let you head off into here in Nebraska. So probably the sunset pretty soon, right?
We're almost. All right, and we're back again. Apologies. I'm in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska right now, so I'm doing my best.
All I did was I said I wanted to thank you one more time for being on the show, and I was going to let you ride off into the sunset.
I know, it's all good. I want to give a proper goodbye. No, thank you so much for having me. To everybody who was viewing this live, or maybe you're watching this as the replay, I appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and especially making it all the way to the end.